Hey guys, I'm out taking your first of your many weekly videos here. And this one's going to be kind of short because there's not much done in the home. As you can see, they're still in the framing process, which they'll probably finish up tomorrow. But what I'm going to go over in this video is I'm going to walk around the home and I'll talk about the foundation, because you asked about the foundation in the pre-construction briefing, so I'll go over some of that. And I'll go over the materials we use in the framing of the home, and the stuff that we wrap around the home as well in the next couple of videos as well. But as I walk up, you can see that they've got some of the walls up on the home. They still got to go up and put the trusses in, which are over there. And I'll go back when I get around the outside of the house and go over the trusses and the type of materials we use and why we use those type of materials in the home. As I'm walking up, you can see they have a big stack of what's called oriented strand board, or the short version is OSB. And we use this type of material because it's very resilient. This is used in 99% of construction when it comes to homes nowadays. Looks a lot like pressed wood, but it is very different. This is an engineered material. It goes through about 4 to 5 times as thick as it comes out of the machine when they make it. And the reason we use this versus plywood or pressed wood is because plywood has very thin layers of veneer, which is like the cover you get when you get on really cheap furniture, that when you scratch you can see the pressed wood underneath it. That's a veneer. So there's a lot of layers of veneer stacked up in plywood and they're glued together. The problem is, over time, especially in this area in the south with all the rain and humidity in the air, is that the layers will come apart. And when you cut a piece of plywood, you can see in between sometimes there's air pockets. So if the plywood itself were soaked in wood, you would actually start seeing it come apart very shortly after being soaked in the wood. This particular material, we were the first ones in the area to use it. And the reason Mr. Henry decided to use this material when we started doing it, when he started using it, is because he was challenged by the supplier to use it and see how it came out. And he actually cut a piece of it and soaked it in a bucket of water and let it sit there for a week and nothing happened to it. This is a very moisture resistant material, which is why we use it. Once again, this is called an oriented strand board. This particular material will be used on top of the trusses to create your roof line, as well as wrapped around the outside of the home before they put what's called the dowel wrap around the outside of the home. And I'll go over that in the next couple of videos when they actually do wrap your house. So this is once again oriented strand board. The short version is OSB, and this is the material we use and why we use it. When it comes to the framing for your walls, there's a different material that we use for that. We use what's called a spruce pine. It's not the strongest material in the world, not that it's weak by any means. It's not a weak material. But the reason I say that is because we use a different material for your trusses that's a lot stronger. But the reason we don't use that in the walls is because it has a potential to warp. Now, when it comes to your trusses, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever if it does warp. But that's the reason we use that. The material we use in the trusses is called a southern yellow pine. However, you do not want to use that in walls if it's going to warp, because otherwise you'll stand next to your wall and look down and you'll see big bows in your walls. That's why we use a spruce pine. This takes a lot for this stuff to warp, and that's the reason we use this particular material. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a weak product. It's just not quite as strong as southern yellow pine. But we don't use southern yellow pine because, like I said, it can warp and nobody wants to walk into a room and see a big bow on the wall, which is why we use that particular material. As I walk around, you can see the different rooms are broken out, and I'll walk in the house itself once I get done walking around. But I'm also going to explain the different materials even a little bit more. I'm going to talk about the foundation. Now, you had previously asked about the foundation, and while I'm going around, I'm going to stop real quick and show you. This ledge is supposed to be here. This is called the footer, or your brick ledge. This is what they stack the brick on when they connect it to the house when they build the house, so that's what this is for here. As you can see, it's one solid piece of concrete all the way through. There's no individual pieces. There's no breaks or multiple pours when it comes to the foundation we use, and that foundation is called a monolithic foundation. We talked a little bit about this in the pre-construction briefing, how we'd never had any issues with the monolithic foundation, and how a lot of our superintendents, if they were to build their own homes, use this type of foundation, or they build one of our homes for themselves. We've had superintendents do that as well. Now, the advantage of a monolithic foundation is, like I said before, it's one solid piece of concrete. There's generally two types of foundations in this part of the country when people pour foundations. There's the monolithic, which is the one that we have here, one solid piece of concrete, the same type of foundation you're going to find at Lowe's or Home Depot or Sam's or any large commercial grade building. Or there's called a stem wall foundation. A stem wall foundation is when they stack cinder blocks all the way around the outside of the house, and they come in to do several different pours to actually make the foundation of your home. Now, it is a lot easier to do a stem wall foundation, but in turn, there are more potential for issues. You do have a potential for more cracks in the foundation. You have a potential for pockets to go with air, to allow bugs to get in the house. There's all kinds of different downsides to a stem wall. The other downside is it's actually more expensive to make a stem wall. A lot of other builders, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are quite a few that do the stem wall because it's so much easier to do. Like I said, you know, there's really not much to messing it up. You really, once you have these cinder blocks outlined to the foundation, you just come in and do several different pours to make your foundation. So it's a lot easier. The downside is it's more expensive, number one, because you have to have the concrete trucks come out several times to do the pour on top of purchasing the cinder blocks. That's number one. Number two, it takes more time because you have to do several different pours. When we do our foundations, they come in, we set up the foundation. When the concrete trucks show up that first day, they are done at the end of that first day. The foundation is set, we let it dry. I think we give it and I know it takes one day for it to pour, and depending on the weather, we can actually start the framing the next day. In the middle of the summer with it really humid, with the heat out, we can actually start the next day. I think in the winter we give it an extra 24 hours to dry to make sure there's no issues. That's not to say that you won't see any cracks in any foundation, because you're going to see spider cracks in any foundation anywhere you go. I dare you to walk into somebody's house and not see them. There are ways to do it, but you're talking an extreme amount of time, energy, and effort put into a foundation to make sure that you don't get spider cracks. And you'll see them in the garage. You're going to see little cracks that look like spider webs spreading out and going throughout the house. You'll see that. It's nothing to worry about. The only time you have to worry about if you see a crack in your foundation is if you can stick a quarter in it. If you can stick a quarter in it, then you have a problem and you give us a call, but that's why we have the warranty on the home. As of right now, you don't see any. I'm walking through looking for one so I can point it out, but I don't see any right now. Now, being that it's concrete, it doesn't give, so when the temperature changes, it gets a little bit warmer outside, you're going to see a little bit of movement in the foundation. You might see a couple of cracks, but even walking through the rest of the house, I can't find one right now because the foundation's so new. Also, being that it's concrete, is the longer it sits in the location it is, once it's been poured, the stronger it gets. So it's going to get stronger and stronger over time, but you will see a couple of those spider cracks in the garage like we talked about. Okay, I'm going to walk through the house, and then I'm going to come back and go over the trusses and why we use the type of material we do in the trusses. I've already talked about the interior of the home and the fact that we use spruce pine on the inside because it doesn't warp. It's still a very sturdy material. It's not quite as strong as southern yellow pine, but it does have the advantage of not warping. I'm going to walk out the front door area here and walk in so we can go over the house and the different layout of the home. All right, this is going to be your front porch here. Let me stand on this material and walk out so you can see it. Okay, as we stand here and look, this will be the entrance for your front door here. As we walk up, you're going to have your porch here, which is this here. And as I walk in, we've got your family room area here, which is all open. This is going to be your kitchen located to the right. Your formal dining room here, which they're not, like I said, they're not quite done with framing, but you'll see it more as we go along. This is your den study here to the left. You've still got to come in and frame up for your windows, which is what that opening is there for. As we come around the den study, we're going to walk into the front bedroom of the home. They've got to come in and finish framing up for the window, and they still have to put the trusses up. This is where your air conditioning unit will be. They'll have the filter location down here, and then they'll have a false knob pull door that opens up for the air conditioning unit. And your thermostat is generally located either here or here. So each house is a little bit different, even though it's the same floor plan. This is your bathroom that separates these two bedrooms here. So we come into this middle bedroom here. I'm trying not to hit any of this wood because it's laying around kind of funny. They're going to frame up for a window there. And you'll have a closet here with doors that open up, and you'll have the entrance over there for that. We'll come back into the hallway. This is the linen closet directly across from the bathroom, and you'll have 4 shelves plus the floor for storage. As we come out, they haven't finished that yet because they're going to build the half wall because it's going to be open, the open kitchen design. And these water lines here are going to be for your sink, number 1, dishwasher and refrigerator, which will be located Actually, the refrigerator is located over there, so this is going to be for your sink and your dishwasher. As we come back, there's a little entrance here into this back bedroom. And because you guys did the third bathroom option, the third bathroom's located here, and they put the closet over there. They still have to frame in the closet. And they'll have a window located here. When you come in, you'll have the toilet to your left. You'll have your vanity located on the right and a light switch here, as well as a vent switch. And then you'll have your shower located here, and then you'll have an exterior door that comes out onto the rear covered porch. On the rear covered porch, there'll be 3 entrances into the home. The one to the back bathroom, which would be great if you're doing yard work and you need to go in and take a shower rather than dragging stuff into the house. You'll have the sliding glass door that enters into the family room. And then you'll also have another sliding glass door that enters into the master, which is what we're going to go back to here, and then I'll walk back through there into the kitchen. When we enter the master, they're going to have one set of windows, which will be located here on the back wall. You'll have a tray ceiling up in here, this area. Then when you come back into the bathroom location for this particular room, now I don't have any of this framed out yet, but I will give you a rough idea. As you can see, they've got some of the stuff marked here for where the walls are to run. And you'll have one walk-in closet located here on the right, one located here on the left. You'll have a double vanity back here. That pipe sticking out right there is going to be where your toilet's located, and they'll have a window above that, which is why that's open right now. They're going to go in and frame that out for the window. They're going to have your shower here. That's your water lines for your shower. And they're going to have your corner tub, which is like a heart-shaped tub, or better known as a garden tub. There are a couple different names for it, depending on who you're talking to. As we come back out of here, you're going to walk back into the master suite. This is the only entrance in and out. And there'll be an entrance here into the hallway that leads out to the laundry room, into the kitchen area, as well as your formal dining room. You'll come out, and there'll be a bend here. This will be a wall here, and you'll have a linen closet located here because there's not one inside the master bathroom. It's a very large linen closet. You can put a lot of towels, and you can put actually 3 or 4 different vacuums by the size of it. Then we'll come out, and you'll come into an entrance here to your laundry room that leads back into the garage, and you'll go a little bit further up, and you'll have the entrance into your formal dining room, and then you've got this entrance here into the kitchen. In your laundry room, you're going to have a washer and dryer, as well as racks above for storage. Then you'll have another linen closet here to the left, right behind where the water lines are here for the shower location. So you'll have a linen closet here. You'll have your washer and dryer located here, but we'll go back out. This is where your formal dining room is. It's going to be pretty much open from this point over to here. So this will be your formal dining room, which you can use for that, or up to you. As we come into the kitchen, you'll have an island located where that conduit's located at. There'll be electricity wire coming out of that. You'll have countertops here on your left that go with cabinets above and below. And then you'll come into the open part of the kitchen where you'll have a countertop, your sink, dishwasher to the right, and you'll have cabinets below, but it'll be open into the family room. Then you'll have your breakfast area located here. Like I said, this is where your island is. And you'll have cabinets that wrap around here to where you get to the range, which would be located roughly about right here with the microwave above. A little bit of counter space, refrigerator, and pantry. That's the layout of what this home is going to look like once it gets a little bit further along, and I'll go through in the other videos and explain different things as well. Once they get the trusses on, you'll be able to see a lot better once they finish framing out, which hopefully will be tomorrow, to find out why it's taking so long. I know they were framing yesterday. I was hoping they'd be finishing it up today, which is why I waited to today to take the video. As we walk around, these are the materials that we use for your roof line. As I walk up, let me see what we got here. We've got some felt paper that we obviously put down before we put the shingles up. And this is actually the dowel wrap here that I talked about. I'm going to wait till this gets installed and go over some of that. Once it's installed, it's a little easier to understand. And this is a black wrap that we use with the dowel wrap. And like I said, I'll wait to go over that till it's installed. It's a little bit easier to understand. As I come over to the trusses, which are over here, when it comes to the trusses, like I said, we use a southern yellow pine, number 1 or better. Number 1 is the best, so it's number 1 on the top of the truss line. It's not required that we use the number 1, which you can see there. Might be upside down, but the reason we do is because it's the strongest material that we can get to use for your truss line. It's only required by code to be number 2 or better, but we only use number 1 on the top of the truss line. On top of that, you can see these are stamped into location. They're called engineered trusses. The reason we use engineered trusses, it's more precise. It's more precise when it comes to the trusses. We can guarantee, number 1, that they're built correctly because they come straight out of a machine this way. And number two, we can guarantee how much material we need so there's no waste in the building of the home. When you go out and you see someone using what's called a stick, I think it's called stick-built trusses, where they're doing them on site, they're sitting on the roof line, they're cutting pieces of wood and putting them up. There's a lot of wasted material when you do that, number one. Number two, there can be issues with the building of it. That generally doesn't happen often, but there is a potential for it, which is why we use the engineered trusses. So number one, it costs less to do it, just as like it does with the foundation, but it's also a better option for us and for our buyers, which is why we do it. So that's two cost-effective ways that we save a little bit of money in how we do it, but it also guarantees that it's a little bit better of a product as well, which is why we do it that way as well. Less chance for human error. So that's why we do that's why we do engineered trusses, and that's the type of material we use is southern yellow pine. As you can see right now, there's no warps, but there is a potential for it with the humidity in the area to warp. I talked about it. It does not affect the structural integrity, doesn't affect the roof line or anything like that because of the oriented strand board on top of it. But that's the reason we don't use it inside the house, because it does have a potential to warp at some point. That's your trusses here, and I'm going to turn around and show you your house here. Like I said, I'll be taking a video for you guys roughly every week unless something comes up. Weather doesn't allow me. It may be. I usually try to do them on Fridays or the weekends. Sometimes I have to carry it into Monday, sometimes for weather or if I'm out of town for whatever reason. But if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate at any point to call or email me at any time. And now that you guys are purchasing a Henry Company home, one other thing I like to make sure that you're aware of is if you refer anyone to purchase another Henry Company home, whether it's in Crestview or Navarre, Pensacola, or anywhere in between, there is a $500 referral check to you from Henry Company Homes when they close. So if you have any friends that are looking down here in Florida and they're tired of being up in the snow with you guys up in New York, let them know. It'd be a good way for you guys to make some money. But like I said, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email or call me at any time. I'm also going to take some still pictures for you guys as well. I like doing the video because it gives you more information. It gives me a chance to explain while I'm walking through the home rather than having to try to explain it on a picture. Anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. Talk to you later.